Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host Sean Garman. Here with me, as always, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
Daniel is otherwise indisposed at the moment, so no idea. He might be back next week. We'll see. But either way, there is plenty to talk about here. Just to remind folks, we did do a show on Friday, which was supposed to be the last Tuesday show due to the hurricane. So technically, you're getting two shows pretty close to each other. If you didn't get to go check out the last episode, whether it's on video or on audio, please go do that. We had plenty to say about quite a few topics. But this week, we got a heck of a ton of CD Projekt news, more Cyberpunk, more Witcher, and even a new IP. We got Sony and Microsoft continuing to do their thing over the Activision-Blizzard deal, and even more movie and TV news. If there wasn't enough already, we got more of that. All that after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right, and just so we can get it out of the way, of course, if this is your first time listening or 100th time listening, either way, we always appreciate you and thank you for that. You can always watch us live, whether it's on Twitch or you can watch us on the Twitter, W2 Network on both of those. You can watch us on our Facebook page, W2 Network as well. You can go listen to us or watch us on demand on YouTube, W2 Network on YouTube. And you can go follow me at WTM Sean on Twitter, follow Marc at Humanity Playing, or you can just go listen later. Should always bring up this that if you watch on video, usually it hits YouTube pretty quickly after we do the show. A lot of times on the audio, it kind of depends on my schedule. I might be able to get it out pretty quickly. If not, it could take a whole day, but it does get out to Apple and Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. You can listen to it on there. Either WTM Network on there or just look for Video Games to the Mass. You can just get our feed whenever we do a show. It'll be there for you. So, that being said, let's get to it here. This is one of those times, sadly, we don't have Jens here to talk about one of his favorite studios doing a lot of stuff. Marc, a lot of CD Projekt Red and CD Projekt news happening as they did basically like a whole, this is what we're doing for the next who knows how many years. A little bit of everything. So I guess just to outline it really quick for before throwing over to Marc to give opinion, we got a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077 after they just said that they weren't going to do anything else involving Cyberpunk that was game related. They were going to do other media things aside from the expansion that's coming next year at some point. So now we know there's a new sequel. There is a lot of Witcher stuff. There's 3 new Witcher games, a new trilogy coming, and then also 2 different projects coming from Witcher. One is being made by Molasses Flood, which is the team that made the Flame in the Flood game. It's an indie game that came out. What was it like? I will find the date.
Or
2016.
it's pretty old.
Yeah. So, but that studio has kind of stayed together. You can actually, in Jason Schreier's like most recent book, you can actually read their story in there of how they formed and what happened with that game and everything's actually really interesting. But either way, they're also working with another third-party studio to make another Witcher title as well. And then they're also making a brand new IP that is actually being fostered inside CD Projekt, so it's not based off of a book or something else. It's actually like a whole new thing that they're making. So, and then also the co-founder and CEO Marcin Nowinski stepped down as well after almost 30 years of being with the company. So, I mean, a lot to discuss there, Mark. I mean, a lot going on. They just decided today to announce all this here.
How much of this interests you?
Well, the cyberpunk stuff is interesting just because, it feels like it's all off the back of Edge Runners that we have had this total revamp love for cyberpunk happening all of a sudden. And then they've gotten to the point where, hey, we're just gonna, not only are we doing an expansion to that game, we're just doing a whole new sequel. Just crazy how the difference a week makes.
Yeah, how much Edge Runner stuff do you think is going to be in this new game? Do you think it's just going to be Cyberpunk Edge Runners, or?
I mean, that would be cool if they did that. I mean, because you'd have people that watch that anime and then been able to play the first game and then have something that kind of just goes right off of that. I would think it'd be much more like the first game, but now that they don't have to use that red engine, maybe it will run a lot better and they can do a lot more with it if they wanted to do.
I mean, I know you're going to sound crazy. I hope the game is lesser in scope or smaller in scope, because like that game world is too big.
That seems like totally not what they have become.
Yeah, but that's a problem because I didn't finish Witcher 3 because it was too large. I mean, Witcher 2 was like manageable. It was like 20 to 30 hours. Witcher 3 is like, here's 100 hours and you're doing the same stuff kind of over and over.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk, like, I didn't finish that either. Because like I've kind of got to where I needed to be and I'm kind of bored with everything by now.
Right.
So I would say Witcher stuff is kind of maybe possibly interesting. The Cyberpunk stuff, not at all, because I'm the one who's played Cyberpunk between us. So
yeah. I mean, the fact that they're like really going full bore on this with like a whole new trilogy, and then also just 2 other games as well. Like they really are making this about supporting the franchises, and they've said that they're doing like a flywheel thing with the franchises where this is going to happen more. They're going to let other people do stuff with these and obviously bounce that off into other media as well. Like, what do you think about that? Like, that's weird. You don't see that happen too often when it's like, usually it's your franchise. You're the one, it's your babies at that point. Like, right? You think about Nintendo or Sony or,
yeah, but those are first party, or those are the guys making the game or making the consoles. So, I mean,
right. But still, like you don't see Ubisoft going and having a studio outside of Ubisoft to make Assassin's Creed.
No, but you see Nintendo making Ubisoft making a Mario game.
Well, but that's different though, and it's not a like core Mario title, and that's really just
or like Nintendo. I don't know the developer. I don't know the developer, but like they made that rhythm or that Legend of Zelda rhythm game. They
that Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm sure they're just kind of busy doing other shit, and as long as they find people, believe me, I'm sure the studio that will be doing this game will be well supervised by CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will as well. It's not just going to be, being done out there with no supervision. But I definitely think that it is just interesting that they've just decided to, okay, we are doing the one new IP, so it's not like they're just going on those 2 franchises. They are doing something new.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, this is going to continue, right? Like this is really going to keep on, and this is what we're really planning on. It doesn't mean that they won't maybe come up with something else new, right? But
well, I mean, they're not, for as big as they are. Kind of, they only have 2 franchises or 2
Right.
IPs. So yeah, it's either going to be this Cyberpunk or Witcher, and they're not going to make like a driving game, like a racing game, anytime soon, or a sports game. So
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, yeah, at least they're supporting that. I mean, they kind of need to with how successful the Witcher series has been for Netflix and everything else. I mean, people want more Witcher stuff, so and you're still going to get Witcher 3 supposedly at some point this year.
So that's a question: is do you think the new Witcher series will not take off of the franchise, but have more in common with that?
Yeah, right. Because they said that Witcher 3, that's it for Geralt, right? He's not gonna be coming back.
Believe me, I'm sure Geralt will be back, but not this time. He'll be voiced by Henry Cavill.
You think they're really gonna get him to?
I don't know. I mean, some actors like a paycheck, but some other actors like to do it, because they like the character. I mean, hell, look at Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, well, definitely the fact that they got Keanu Reeves back for that was still surprising to me. But
plus, it's not like Henry Cavill won't be wearing the stupid armor, or, doing athletic work. To be voicing a character, so he'd be a-okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, will they just make it a different character altogether? Or are they gonna? You think they would try to use one of the Siri or Jennifer or something like that to take it off? Or
I don't know. I think it's the problem of that character is too recognizable with the franchise.
okay, yeah, that's certainly possible as well.
Yeah.
I mean it. I don't know how much you've played of the Witcher in general to know if there's somebody that's been used in the series that they could just
No.
use
I mean, one problem also. Well, I've played, like I said, played 2 and some of 3, but there aren't that many Witchers in the world or in that
right.
universe. The most of them are killed off or not around. There are a few, but not you barely come across any in those games. And
Yeah.
the one the one you come across in Witcher 2 is the evil, the bad guy. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, they went through the whole process of showing you the tech that they could use in the next Witcher and everything. Now that they're using Unreal, so I mean, they obviously definitely have huge plans for it, and it is going to be what they're going to be doing for a while. So I'm excited to see what that new IP is going to be. What they are possibly going to be, making it based off of. They said that they're barely in what you would call planning phase or some kind of pre-production. I think they said they barely started it sometime last year. So don't expect that anytime soon. Or
let me throw this out there for you: 100-hour long dating simulator.
I mean, couldn't you make that case that it's already that anyway?
Yes, but there's no other gameplay. It's just a visual romance novel.
Why not? I mean, they already really want you to do this relationship stuff in those games anyway. So, I don't know anything else that you really. I mean, we haven't touched on the CEO leaving. I mean,
I have no opinion. I mean,
yeah,
he probably feels that the studio's now in a good place, and like I said, he's been there for 30 years, so I'm sure he wants to do something else.
I mean, he's still staying there as I guess to help the board, right? He's not.
Yeah. That old chestnut.
Yeah, he's still gonna kind of be sort of involved on the sidelines, but he's not involved with the team anymore like he used to be. So, I mean,
Plus,
it
they
is
didn't
good
like,
for him.
yeah, they didn't like force him out, or he's not like,
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, at least it didn't get to the point where everything went south and they had to force him out or whatever. Obviously, we shouldn't just act like let's turn the page on what happened. I mean, obviously there was crunch involved with that game. There was other bad things that happened with the game, the way the game came out, everything else. We shouldn't just disregard that now that they have all this good press. But hopefully, with these things going forward, we are gonna have better news coming out of that studio. That's not negative.
yeah,
And that's what you want when you're making games. It's already hard enough. You don't want that stuff happening. So yeah, I think that kind of closes that chapter on us talking about CD Project stuff. There will be, I'm sure, more information that comes out, so we'll continue to keep talking about it. But hey, let's actually talk about some games for a little bit here. Microsoft revealed their Xbox Game Pass games for the first half of October, and they actually have some decent stuff here as far as the games that they have promised that were going to come this year. They come towards the middle of the month with Scorn actually coming out a week early on October 14th. And then Plague Tale Requiem, that's the sequel to Plague Tale, coming out on the 18th. So, and those are coming to everything, cloud PC and Xbox. And then, of course, you have some other stuff here. Chivalry 2 is out right now. That's on everything. If you didn't get to play that yet, I've heard good things. So go check it out. Medieval Dynasty, apparently possibly a day one game on the new consoles. And that's on Series X. And then you get The Walking Dead Season 1 and 2 on PC. If for some reason you haven't played that yet, definitely go check out Season 1. For sure. Season 2 it starts kind of going down after once you get to there. And the first Costume Quest, which is pretty decent.
Yep, I like that one quite a bit.
Evil, and then Dyson Spear Program, which is PC only as well. So it's pretty decent stuff for the first half of the month. Definitely excited to check out Scorn and Plague Tale when those two come out towards the middle of the month. I've been waiting on Scorn for a while, and of course, Plague Tale was one of my favorite games, the first one, in the year it came out. So definitely hoping that the second one continues that when it's supposed to be bigger and have more choices.
Yeah,
for sure. So, well, another big game that technically we don't know if it's going to be involved with Microsoft or not, but technically Microsoft intended to acquire this company, Overwatch 2, and Blizzard, of course. Overwatch 2 free to play came out
barely
yesterday, and it had the queue is long, as you would expect with most Blizzard launches. But then they got hit by a DDoS attack, which that sucks. Did you try to
no.
play this at all?
I mean, I still have Overwatch 1 installed. Plus, I just don't like their phone philosophy. They're like, I have an authenticator. Like, you know me from that. Like, it's not hard.
Right. I mean, I get it. They're trying to stop having people and invading that shouldn't be. But I mean, I get you as well. Yeah, Blizzard has their authenticator thing. I still use it.
Right. That's what it was there for.
I mean, like, so are you gonna plan to play it at all? Or
Maybe way down the road once they get rid of that thing, or iron out their server issues.
Yeah, once they figure out the whole problem that this is presenting at this point, I'm imagining that this is going to be a problem well beyond this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like get ready to deal with that because it's not just going to go away. I saw people that said they like got in a queue just for it to put them in another queue that was like even bigger. So that doesn't sound great, honestly.
And apparently, it's like the PC version is kind of working, but the console one is like completely hosed.
Uh, I'd imagine that there's a lot of people wanting to play on console right now that
Yeah.
Can't because of this. I mean, Blizzard is always known for having these crazy launches, so this wouldn't necessarily be too out of the
Well,
realm. Yeah,
not for a while, but yes.
right.
Historically, they have been. Let's say that.
Well, I mean, even when WoW comes out, they still have like the long queues that first week or whatever from people trying to get back in that haven't played in a while.
Yeah, and then that all the reviewers stop
Yeah.
playing the game after that month, and it goes back to the regular WoW people, and then it's a ghost town.
Yep, that's true as well. So part of those getting a lot of drop and connection issues is due to that DDoS attack.
Yeah.
Hopefully they fix it pretty quickly here, so more people can play the game. But I'm sure many people will be able to play eventually. But that's what happens when you get free to play instead of buying like the first game. You're gonna get a heck of a lot more people playing it this time. So,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people complaining about the battle pass and like how the hero unlocking stuff. I'm just kind of curious, like, would you rather pay $40 or $60 for the game and just get all that crap, to begin with, or no? I mean, you can buy the battle pass, but like that's not.
no,
That's
I'd
only one of
rather.
them.
I'm not a fan at all of the whole piecemeal buying stuff, and
Yeah,
I'll buy DLC when it hits finally and all that stuff. But obviously that's usually like after the game comes out, or if it's something cosmetic that I want to buy or whatever. Like the Persona
right.
stuff. They usually have some neat costume DLC or whatever. But
I mean, I don't even buy
I'm
that. I'd buy like story stuff possibly, but I'm not even buying the Soul
right.
Hacker 2 crap.
Yeah, like something like that as well. But like having to buy the characters every time with this battle pass to like, oh well, we have content every month, and oh, you're getting another character, and I mean, if it's stuff that should be coming with the game, just somebody pay the $40 or $60 whatever for the game, and you get everything.
I think it's like really funny that this game is basically mirroring the Halo Infinite like playbook.
Yep, that's the problem, right? Like right now, Microsoft doesn't have a very good thing with Halo Infinite, and then technically this is still Activision is going through the same thing, even though
Yeah,
I mean this is Activision though, so they kind of have they know how to do this more than say Microsoft does. But
no, they used to know how to do this, not
well, I'm
not
saying they
anymore.
have more of a history with it. Maybe it's
Yeah,
not as good as it used to be, but you know, um, at least it seems like people are trying to get in, which is better than like having. Even though it felt like the game didn't really have a ton of buzz before this whole thing happened. Um, and a lot of people keep saying like, I don't really see the point of needing to play this other than wanting to try out the new characters.
that's the whole
But
point.
yeah, like I mean, as far as like updates to actual like the Overwatch like meta
I
and
mean,
anything, people don't feel like there's anything new.
it looks like fractionally better.
Right.
And I guess like having, the team composition has changed now from 6 to 5, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. But didn't they do that before the launch of this?
Not that I know of, or I mean, it's always been 6-on-6, or there may be like one mode that may have done something like that, but now it's like a permanent thing, or this is the only way you can play it. So
All right, fair enough. Well, I'm sure in the next week we will know more
yeah,
about what's going on with that and how people are feeling about it, and review roundups and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I
be on the
know.
lookout for that.
GameSpot put up theirs, and I think they gave it an 8 out of 10, and it's basically like it's fine, but I need the story
It's more
mode.
Overwatch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, where's the story mode?
If you wanted to play more Overwatch with new characters, there you go. There it is. Hey, we go from basically, it feels like you're bringing out the same old game to Sony doing the same thing with Horizon Zero Dawn. So they got a lot of flack for The Last of Us Part 1 remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it.
And they decided to double down.
Yes, exactly. They decided to double down because technically this has a Netflix show coming out. So why not do a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster remake as well? This was first reported by MP First, which actually we had one of their guys on the podcast before in the past. He did, I think, one of the Summer Game Fest reactions with us. But from what he was telling me, and then later, VGC corroborated as well, that this is legit. This is a thing.
I don't doubt it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess this means we have to convince Netflix to make a Wipeout racing show, so Sony can get their ass and do something with the franchise.
Exactly. So obviously the biggest discrepancy and the biggest fight with everybody on Twitter and everybody on social media seems to be the whole, okay, is this going to be like Ghost of Tsushima, where you have the director's cut or Death Stranding or insert game here that's had one of those where you're going to have the $10 upgrade, or is this going to be like Last of Us Part 1 where they're going to try to charge you the whole $70?
Yeah.
Which side of things are you erring on here?
It'd be nice if it's the first, but it's going to be the second.
You really think so? I mean, they've been trying to make this director's cut thing like their big namesake for this generation so far. I mean,
yeah, but they've already put out like the complete version of Zero Dawn on PS4.
Yeah, exactly. And they did like a 4K 60 like upgrade or whatever as well.
Right. See, I guess I don't technically mind the Last of Us Part 1 stuff too much, because that game, that was a 2009 game. Well, initially, or 2013, yeah. And they made the PS4 version, that was 2014.
Exactly.
So, that's been, 8 years since that game came out.
Right.
And they already got that engine working, the Last of Us Part 2 engine. So they're like, all right, let's dump the story and everything into this and see what goes on. That's what they're going to do with this thing. Like, because they said like, oh, it's going to look more in line with, not Forbidden West's like aesthetic, and it's like, yeah, because you're using that engine. Like, I expect this game to be red as shit for some reason, just like that game.
Yeah.
But also, like, Zero Dawn came out in 2017.
Right.
It ain't that old. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
And unlike Last of Us, that was coming out the PS3, and you couldn't play PS3 games on a PS4. So that was a more valid technical reason for them to make remastered the PS4 version, at least. Now, the PS5 version, no. But the PS4 version, yes. Like, PS5 can play Zero Dawn quite nicely as it is.
Exactly.
And in fact, I got a bad feeling, or, if this thing does come out, it's going to change the gameplay to be more like Forbidden West, and I didn't like that as much.
I mean, will they, though? Because people were saying that's what was going to happen with Last of Us Part 1, and they didn't do that completely either.
But that's such a limited game in terms of, like, gameplay. Like, you're not... I wouldn't say that's the same thing, because you can only do, like, 4 things in Last of Us, really.
Right.
Like, I'm sure it'll have, like, the same trap limit as Forbidden West did for some stupid reason. Or, like, you can't, like, use the tripwires as much or stuff like that,
Yeah. I mean, they also did announce that there could be a multiplayer.
Yeah, that works about as well as for God of War, right?
Yeah. But I mean, technically, you could have like a, I guess, like a boss battle thing or like a horde mode or,
Yeah,
you
I don't see
know.
it like I see it as like having to do co-op to take down like bigger animals or bigger
Exactly.
robots. But I just don't care. Like, I don't think the fiction is like that important in that game to like justify it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see people liking it. I don't think it's gonna gain the traction that said like the Ghost of Tsushima one did.
Right. Because
Um,
also that's a problem is like in Horizon, there are very few people capable of even taking on these machines. Like in Ghost of Tsushima, everyone's a samurai, so it's fine.
yeah, like is everybody gonna play an Aloy variant?
Yeah. Oh, mine has black hair and yours has green.
Right?
And
Or are they just
stupid
gonna,
tribal markings on her face.
or are they just gonna have everybody create their own character, or
I
you
imagine
know?
it'd be like archetypes or like what Assassin's Creed did. Like you have different, basically skins.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this from Sony. If it winds
Well,
up being the $10 one, then sure, okay.
I mean,
I mean,
at $10,
yeah,
I might get it, but I think the greater problem is it's incredibly lazy on their part. Like I
right.
said, this isn't old, and if you want to do something like that, remaster Legend of Dragoon, or make another Jumping Flash or Battle Arena Toshinden. Like you have a pretty old library that you don't do shit with.
Yeah, there's other things that exactly. There's so many different games that Sony could spend their time remastering, but we're remastering a game that people can play
You,
just
you,
fine.
you could still probably find it in a store if you really wanted to. Let's say that.
Well, no, but that's the thing though, is like, okay, it's on sale. It goes on sale quite frequently. They have the 4K 60 upgrade already there if you get your PS5. The second game comes bundled with the
Yeah,
system now.
right.
So and if you play the second one first, you've already kind of majorly played Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
So I don't really see the point of doing that. Whereas, like, do you feel like there's enough story where it's like where like Last of Us Part One? Okay, it's a part one to a part two that you can make the case that yeah, we kind of needed to look like part two so that people can want to play the whole story all the way through. I don't know that the same can be said for Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. I don't know. You're the one that's played more of those.
I think there is a good story. There's a better story in Horizon Zero Dawn. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's kind of putting the cart before the horse. Or most people, if they're going to have a PS5, are going to play Forbidden West first now. So it's like, okay, you kind of know how this ends, or how,
Right.
or introduce a character to say you have no fucking clue who they are. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
why is this bald black guy like being cryptic?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Sony doing this, especially if they're gonna try to go the we're doing this to charge you $70 for it route because
I mean, I'm a
it's not good PR from Sony, quite honestly.
I'm a fan of them remaking their old stuff or
Right.
remastering it, but just not, you know, have some distance between the PS4 and this thing.
Right. It's we're still getting it's not like we have just gone away from the PS4 generation and we're fully in it. We're
Yeah,
still making games for the PS4
I
right
mean
now.
that's what I was saying. You could go into a store and probably find a copy of Horizon Zero Dawn on for sale at like a
Exactly.
Best Buy,
Yeah.
and also here's the funniest one. They should remake Drive Club.
I think Sony will rather keep that one where nobody can play it
I
at
mean,
all.
is there like a good example or an actual good example would be like Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Like that was a good one. Or if they decided it wasn't technically theirs, but they could buy it or they could do it.
I
Like
mean, there's
Katamari
people still
Damacy.
waiting for that Bloodborne remaster.
Yeah, that was the
You
other
know,
fun thing. It's like, yeah, people are begging for that, and instead we get this thing.
exactly. I mean, there's people that are actually begging for that Bloodborne remaster. You know how well Demon Souls did. You can see clearly how well Elden Ring is doing. Like, a Bloodborne remaster would actually sell very well.
Yeah.
And you're doing this very unnecessary remake. I get everybody's going to be like, oh, well, you don't have to buy it. Yeah, I don't have to buy it. But
then again, they don't have to make it either. So
exactly. They don't have to make it. Look, it's not our money. We're not spending it. They can do whatever the heck they want. But we should also be able to criticize and say, hey, it's probably not the best use of resources. The problem is everybody that's out there complaining, even if it is a $70 one, they're gonna go and they're gonna buy it. So
that's the thing is I know why they're doing it because it's gonna be cheap and easy for them to do. It's not.
Yeah.
And look at Shadow of Colossus didn't sell particularly well, or like that medieval game,
right,
didn't do well. Like people say they want older games, but clearly they don't, or they're not doing well. So yeah, of course they're gonna remake a game from the last generation. It only needs 3 months worth of work or whatever.
and that sold well and is already on PC as well, so they can get stuff from there.
Yeah.
There's just so much for them to gain from that. You can definitely see it, and of course, with the TV show coming from Netflix, it's gonna get people interested in it that have no idea what Horizon Zero Dawn is, and then you have this new game out there. Well, new old game out there that you could buy. People are gonna be like, "Oh, let me pick that up," and then I don't have a PS5. Oh, they have a sequel that comes with the PS5 now. Yeah, definitely. So,
Yep.
it's smart in that way, but it's just like, God, you got so many other games. Remake those instead.
Yeah, it's financially smart but creatively bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like we really can't think of anything else to be doing here except that. But yeah, but at least we know that according to Herman Holst, that Sony definitely has a live service game ready to go, and they are going to be headed in that direction as well. They're not going to be giving up on single player though. Herman Holst admitted that not only are the single player games the most popular, but they're some of their most well selling as well. So they can't really leave that in the dust. But he says they are planning to have 12 live service games there about by 2026. And that, also includes, other multiplayer titles as well that are done by those partner studios. I mean, obviously we're not the multiplayer guys here, so probably too bad people to ask. But I mean, they kind of do need to diversify, right? They need to have other things that they do besides those single player games.
Right. And that was like their whole pitch for buying, Bungie was, hey, these guys make Destiny and they make live service games fairly well. So
yeah,
let's get them to work. And their own efforts aren't great.
No, definitely not. Was it that's the one that was supposed to launch with the PS5 that, it was a battle royale, the Destruction.
Oh, Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, Destruction All Stars thing. I mean, yeah, that's the thing is, right now they really aren't doing well with that. So they're hoping that bringing in the creators of Destiny is going to help them kind of understand that better and make this something that actually lasts for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think at least he made that very clear that they're not going to be doing anything with having the single player games go away. Um, even EA, who makes almost all their profit on these live service sports games, all that, even they have understood that they have to have the single player games as well. Um, did you see that Dead Space
I
remake
just saw,
trailer?
not into the trailer. I just saw that that the box art came out, or that they announced
Yeah,
some editions.
yeah, it looks freaking awesome. So, and even more excited for that game to come out next year. So, this is I don't think it's bad for Sony to. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, live service game." Trust me, we're the first ones to bang on the door. The live service games, a lot of them fail, and a lot of them are uninteresting and whatever. But hey, they get the casuals in. They get people in that love playing those multiplayer games with their friends. And I mean, if we want those single player games to continue, as Holt says himself, in order to make a deep investment, they got to have these necessary evils, I guess you can call them.
I don't even mind.
Uh,
I don't mind a live service game. It just has to be done well and not be like super exploitative.
well, yeah, that's true too. Um, but hey, maybe you'll do it on your jailbroken PS5, Mark.
No,
You
just
know.
install PT.
Well, to be fair, we're really only talking about it because they actually Lance McDonald, the modder, showed on Twitter how he can install.
How easy
I
it
for,
is.
yeah,
Anyone can do it.
exactly. He installed PT. It doesn't mean that he can run PT though. So,
Yeah.
installing and running are two different things. It's also using an old version of the firmware, so it's not like they're using the most updated one. And then who knows how long it'll take Sony to
Well, I think
get that.
they already
Yeah,
patched it out like the current kernel or current firmware. But I mean, believe me, it's only a matter of time.
right. Do you think Sony needs to be worried about this at all, or
uh,
you know?
no, because what you can do with it at the moment is very limited.
Right.
Uh, I don't think like, dumping game ISOs or anything like that anytime soon.
Yeah.
I
No.
mean, I think at a certain point, if they really wanted to say screw it, they would just disable the main vector for this stuff is like the internet browser or like the help guide and stuff like that. They would just disable
Right.
that and say, hey, we're removing the browser because of you fuckers. Stop doing
Yeah.
this.
Yes. We don't want y'all doing
I mean,
this. We don't want people trying to build a PS5 emulator for
that's how
the.
you can hack a PS4 at the moment, or I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's still valid. It's like, yeah, you can. There's some black magic you can do with like the internet browser and like direct it to a DNS and make your PS4 a debug unit.
Yeah. No, for sure. I'm sure we'll get more about this as well, about whether or not it's gonna keep happening or Sony shuts it down or
Yeah.
whatever. But hey, I should have mentioned this when we talked about Bloodborne and Elden Ring, but we talked about that Sony invested 14% more in from software, or they acquired 14% more from software, and they may be able to use that to make a Bloodborne movie or TV show, or even an Elden Ring TV show, maybe.
For all the story those games have.
Well,
Jens
yeah.
likes to pretend, or those fans like to pretend those games actually have a story. It's like, no, they don't. Please stop.
I mean, technically they do, right?
Yes, but you have to like dig through like you know pages of journal entries and crap like that, or find the most like esoteric writing on the wall. It's like this isn't like a story.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I think I would imagine that what if they got like Miyazaki involved or whatever, and he's actually gonna be, heading this and making it feel like it has the lore and all that stuff. I mean, do you think it could
What?
work or?
Why get him involved? Just get George R. Martin. He's not doing anything right now.
Oh god, why? So it could take like 3 years to come out. I mean,
3, you're being generous.
yeah. I mean, they're having this House of Dragon come out pretty quick, so
Yeah, that's because the book's already written. That's why.
yeah. I mean, they're already have plans to film the season 2 and all that stuff. So I mean, they're saying they want that to go quite a few seasons. We'll see how well that does. But
I don't know. I think the problem. I guess Elden Ring has a tad more story, kind of, but like
yeah,
at least for Bloodborne, it's just all an aesthetic of Lovecraft. So it's like I could just watch Reanimator if I wanted that, or something better.
yeah. I mean, what about Dark Souls or Demon Souls? Would you want to?
Again,
Yeah,
like those games have like no story to me whatsoever. So I mean,
yeah,
hell, at least like Code Vein kind of had a story, or like even though I don't like that game, like it
right.
tried, or like it had other characters. That's kind of the problem of like people want like a Metroid show, and it's like okay, who does Samus talk to? Like there aren't a ton of other characters in the Metroid universe.
Well, I mean, it's like the Sonic movies, right? You kind of just have to make stuff up.
Sonic has
So,
a cast, not a
yeah.
good cast, but a cast.
Well, couldn't
and he,
you?
and also
You
Sonic has like 30 years of history,
yeah,
comics and cartoons and shit like that can just draw off of or not. Like,
yeah. I mean, couldn't they just make it where Samus meets people while she goes and investigates these planets? And
yeah, I just feel like the Mandalorian though.
I mean, that's not a terrible show to base your show off of if you're gonna
Right.
pick one. So, I mean, why not if you're Nintendo? Um, what do you think of the Nintendo finally making their whole production like studio and everything? Like, are we gonna get more Nintendo movies? And
Maybe. It's funny you mentioned that today. I actually picked up. I mean, I already had one copy of it, like the regular one, but I picked up the Steelbook of Detective Pikachu, and I was looking at it. I'm like, why didn't we get a sequel to this?
they
Like,
canceled it, whatever. Like during the
yeah, but I mean, I guess the problem with that movie is like it's a big mystery until the end. Like it's explained to you, so it's hard to make another one, or how to get Ryan Reynolds back voicing Pikachu. It's like, well, got fixed already.
yeah.
Like, but like that was a relatively good movie, or
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
No, I like that a lot actually. Like I was hoping we would get more in that vein, and then they just cancel it. And it's like, well, wasn't it because Ryan Reynolds had scheduling
Who
issues,
cares?
or yeah,
How long honestly does it take someone to like voice a character like that? Like a week, maybe
yeah.
maybe two. He showed up for
I think also
like
the pandemic had a lot to do with it as
he showed
well.
up for like a day on set when he
Yeah.
had to like be himself, and that was it.
Well, I mean, even then, like he's doing voiceovers, so they've had people record voiceovers like in their car before, or
or
you
you
know,
can do what people actually wanted, and you have in Pikachu 2, like Pikachu is now voiced by Danny DeVito, and the great twist is at the end it's actually his grandfather.
yeah.
There we go. That'll work.
Why not? I mean, that's what people wanted, right? They wanted to edit the video at first. So just make it happen, Nintendo. Please the audience for that. Yeah, I mean, can you believe it though? The Medium is going to get a TV series. I mean, if there was ever a game, no. To be fair, I thought the Medium was okay. Of course, this was like one of the first exclusives, quote unquote, for the Series X when that first came out. What's funny is that the co-production between Bloober and Platti's Image, they're basically using the fact that Cyberpunk and Arcane both did well. So that means we've got to like take advantage of the fact that like video game stuff is doing well and make this TV show. Like,
well, that is it going to be live action or anime?
I don't know, because the game is, not. It's like Cyberpunk. It's not anime. It's live action. So, I don't think it would work as an anime though. It's a
well,
horror.
I don't mean anime. I just mean animated. Let's say that.
No, I don't think it would be, because it's a horror game. So it's probably going to be live action. I will say the story kind of lends itself to be a TV show. Much better than a game, because it felt like a much more plotting, like Telltale game, sort of.
Yeah.
Some of the reveals were interesting. Like, I guess if they had more time to flesh out some of these characters that you kind of really don't get to know a lot about, it might be interesting as like a sort of a mystery thriller series. So I could see it working. I mean, Silent Hill, at least the first movie was, and they based the medium a lot off of Silent Hill, so it could actually sort of work, but I don't know.
I just don't see it because there's so many like, oh, we announced this TV show or projects that never actually happen.
Yeah, like, well, it's not that it doesn't happen. It's more about, I could see it happening, and then you're trying to use the fact that these other, video game adapted things did well, so therefore we need to bank in on that as well. And not everybody needs to go that route, because you're going to get a lot of failures more than you're going to get successes. I mean, for every Witcher, Cyberpunk, Arcane, we don't know if these Sony ones are going to be good or not. Like,
I mean, I imagine The Last of Us will be fine, but probably that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on who you talk to, but there are people that really actually like that Rings of Power. So Amazon could do decently well with God of War.
Yeah.
I don't know about Horizon, but that's
the only way the Day Is Gone shall do well if they somehow clone Norman Reedus to be both characters.
No, they just need to do a Death Stranding show.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, remember the Life is Strange TV show they announced?
Yeah.
That was real great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Watched every episode. I mean, it's the same thing they do with movies. Like, the Bioshock. Like, it's fun. It's really fun listening to old like episodes of the Bombcast or like the Hotspot, and they're going like, "Oh, they announced a Gears of War movie." And it's like,
yeah, that never happened, did it?
So, or even the guy who's still claiming he's going to do a Metal Gear movie. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, that
I've only been saying that for the past like 5 years now.
That Metal Gear movie is not happening, folks. Let's just.
And it's not like no offense to him at all, but it's not like Oscar Isaac's getting any younger. Like,
Yep. Definitely need to be happening sooner rather than later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If that was going to happen. But yeah, I think that's it for the sort of video game, movie, TV show ish stuff.
Yeah.
But before we get off the Sony and Microsoft stuff here, they did have some more developments in the Sony versus Activision fight for the Activision Blizzard deal, or not Sony versus Microsoft in the fight for this Activision Blizzard deal going through in the EU. Supposedly, not only did Jim Ryan complain, but he's now had a private meeting with the CMA as well to voice his concerns. Microsoft has filed their last kind of deal with that. Of course, they're going through a in-depth probe right now that's supposed to be completed by March 2023. We'll see if Jim Ryan's complaints perhaps might get them to reconsider this. Microsoft, for their part, put out this website that makes claims about that they still wouldn't be the biggest out of the three console manufacturers, which is probably true.
Well,
Nintendo and Sony would still be.
It depends if you mean hardware, software, or like profits.
Yeah, I mean, people are still going to buy more PlayStation and Nintendo stuff than they are Xbox stuff.
Sony should. I mean, if this actually does go through, Sony should just say F it and like buy EA so they have the rights to Madden forever.
That'd be very interesting if Sony goes that route and just buy.
I mean, they're not going to buy. I mean, they. I don't want to say they're not, but I don't. It's unlikely they would ever buy Square or like Capcom because
I feel like Square is the most. They already make all these deals with them anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is they're already kind of in their pocket. So
yeah,
who cares? You know.
I mean, you could outright acquire them, and just that way, Xbox never gets any of their games again because they're still getting some of them.
Yeah, but no one cares about them really.
I mean,
like,
they do in a way.
We finally got Kingdom Hearts 3. It's like, yeah, like a year or two after.
I mean, they're getting the Crisis Core reunion game, so like,
but there's they still haven't gotten Final Fantasy 7, right?
Right, that's true. Who knows how long the exclusivity thing is for that? I mean, but that's the thing is, I think Microsoft has a point in that they would still be behind both of them. Now, obviously, yeah.
I mean, at the moment, yes, but if the deal went through, how quickly would that change?
I mean, we still don't know if one of the things of the deal could be that the EU makes Microsoft have to sign an agreement that says that they will not make Call of Duty exclusive, which could happen, right? If that happens, then
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
If that happens, then I think part of this deal. Now, let's be honest. I think a big part of this deal, which is something we don't cover because we don't talk about mobile games, is the King part of it. This would give Microsoft a huge inroad into mobile gaming, which right now they don't have anything.
Yeah, but that's also because Sony doesn't really care.
Oh, but Sony's trying to make mobile games now too.
They care peripherally, but it's not like it's not like the top 5 of the top 10 mobile games on the iOS market are Sony games.
Oh no, definitely. But I mean, when you take the number one game that's been number one for the past, 20 years or whatever, then that's going to matter more right now because it's that big of a game. I think that they will eventually just do that if it comes down to hey, we're not passing this unless you sign some kind of deal where I don't know if they can make them sign a thing where they can't put it on Game Pass. I think that's where Microsoft might draw the line there because then they kind of lose their advantage. But I could see them signing something that says, okay, Call of Duty is going to be exclusive forever or however many years Jim Ryan needs that to be a thing before he doesn't care anymore or whatever. And then they finally let it go through. But Jim Ryan has his points that he's been annoying the crap out of the CMA about it. And it feels like he has some friends there because some of the verbiage coming out of that thing sounds very Sony inclined. But that being said, this is a huge deal. And if this goes through, Microsoft has already said they're not done. And then, Sony themselves also said they're not done either. Tencent has come out this week and said that they're actually going to look at actually fully acquiring studios now instead of doing this investing thing. So, oh boy, get ready. Get ready because this is going to get worse.
Yeah.
Not before we stop seeing this. Like, what I worry about with Tencent is that if they fully acquire things, like, would they actually change any of the stuff that these studios are making? Because maybe if something doesn't suit China or whatever, would they make them change it?
No more Winnie the Pooh games.
Yeah. Do you see like what Tencent can't acquire Ubisoft because of that deal they just made? Like, do you think of anyone that Tencent could really be targeting and saying, "Oh, we're going to acquire them"?
I mean, they have the money to basically acquire pretty much anyone they wanted to. They really want to do. I mean, Sega could be one.
Yeah,
because they're kind of small. Like they're small enough, or they're not doing too great at the moment.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, EA would be interesting if they would go that route, if they really need to be bought by someone. I don't think they're that desperate.
I generally see Tencent as buying, like, if they're going to buy a company, like, own it outright, they'd be another Asian company. So, like, Sega, yeah. I don't think Square, but maybe, like, Namco Bandai.
Yeah. Even though, Bandai Namco was trying really hard to make sure they secured those IPs so that people couldn't buy them. Even though interesting that the Kadokawa chairman got arrested for bribery not too long ago, so we'll see how this all goes down with From Software at some point there. Could Tencent just outright be like, "Hey, Sony, we'll buy out your part," or how about we make a deal where From Software is given to exclusive to your console, but we'll own the company. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like the nice thing about something like that is that there's, I would say, little to no Chinese problem with like an Elden Ring because they're not making fun of Chinese, or the Chinese people aren't like the enemies.
Right, exactly. That's something you wouldn't have to worry about. But yeah, I mean, this acquisition stuff is just going crazy to the point where we're even having video game websites get acquired too. Even though this might actually be good because we've seen Red Ventures, what they've been doing with Giant Bomb and Gamespot and all that. So Fandom has now acquired Giant Bomb, GameSpot, GameFAQs, Metacritic, Cord Cutter News, from Red Ventures, who were, that includes CNET and CBS. I think this.
You made the point like Red Ventures didn't know how to handle Giant Bomb, but it's like I mean, I guess kind of, but like the quality of like I'm not visiting Giant Bomb much anymore. Not because like Red Ventures bought them. It's because like
Right.
the way they do content is I don't like it. You know,
Yeah.
because they're all like spread out. Like you have Dan in New York, I think, or, I mean he might be in like San Francisco now, but you have like people in different areas, and they
Right.
don't have like a central office anymore. So it all feels like very disjointed.
No, you're right
That
about that.
I mean that's primarily because of COVID, but it's like that's kind of passing, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, people like bitching about Red Ventures, but it's like, well, Fandom isn't great either. Like they've ruined plenty of websites.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about now? Like Metacritic is owned by, like, they own a bunch of other sites as well. Like, isn't that kind of, there's a conflict of interest there? Or?
Not expressly, I don't think, because well, Metacritic. Well, it depends on like Giant Bomb Metacritic. I mean, that might be one, I guess, but like, I just don't see it like that much. Or like GameSpot, I'm sure there's going to be like it's going to be still sectioned off.
Right. I do wonder about that. Like, it's already hard to get on a Metacritic, and then you have these sites that obviously work with them and are owned by the same company. Is there anything going to be changed there where they're going to be given more preference or anything like that? You'd have to worry about, I guess, those kind of things.
I mean, most things I've heard is people bitching about Fandom websites like on mobile devices being garbage. And even on PC, like some of their wiki stuff is like terrible, or their wiki stuff rather. I think it's funny that they got them for so like relatively so little money.
Yeah, I think Viacom CBS just want to get rid of that.
No, Red Ventures.
Or Red Ventures, yeah.
Yeah.
They just want to get rid of them, really.
Right.
So, like, they bought Screen Junkies. They
bought Comic Con, which I thought was funny. I'm like, that site's still around. Like,
apparently, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot in here.
Right.
One
thing I could see him doing is more consolidating, not the sites themselves, but like a page. And what I mean by that is like, let's say you go to Giant Bomb, they could have like the Metacritic score right there, and then GameFAQs, the links to GameFAQs right there as well.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That might be interesting.
It could revitalize GameFAQs as well, because for the most part, people are using YouTube and
but I would say GameFAQs is kind of hard to do because like it is a text only site.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could just start like hosting like full playthroughs of games like with like time codes and shit like that. But I think that's just harder to do. And also, I like the relative simplicity of GameFAQs' website, where
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'd just rather read the text when somebody does a walkthrough. Like, I don't want to be scrolling through the entire YouTube video. Just give me the actual. How do I get from point A to point B, or how do I solve this issue?
Right.
Like, I did it with Soul Hackers too, a little, when I was playing it most recently, just to make sure there wasn't anything huge I was going to miss in the Soul Matrix if I didn't do one of them or whatever. And I was like, okay, interesting to know. So yeah, it's good to have that. And I guess it's good for these companies to be owned by like a company that cares more about what they're doing, but we'll have to see about whether or not that actually helps them or not.
I mean, I was really surprised that this Fandom company had enough money to do this in the first place.
Yeah, that was it. Kind of just like came out of the blue, and I was like, all right, I guess that's a thing now. This something I wasn't expecting when we were talking about all these acquisition things. Now, if somebody could get Game Informer off of GameStop, that'd be great.
I
Because
mean,
you
I
talk
think
about,
they completely own it, so that might be an issue.
I know, but like I would love for like GameStop just to sell that off to somebody and be like, okay, this can keep going.
I'll give you $20 for it and this copy of Madden from 2013. I don't know. I mean, do you still read Game Informer or do you like them?
I mean, I get the digital one still because I have that GameStop like pro membership thing.
Okay, yeah. See, I
Yeah.
haven't. I mean, I have a few people who worked at Game Informer pretty recently, but like, I haven't read that magazine in 25 years, or at least 20.
Yeah, my problem with it is the thing that they like really try to push the digital one on you, and I like to have the physical thing.
Yeah,
And like now they charge you $5 more to have the actual physical magazine, and they make it such a hassle to get them to send it to you and everything that I'm just like, whatever, I'll just keep
right.
it digital and then forget because they send you the email and I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, I'll go read it. Maybe it's like when it actually comes in the mail, I'm like, oh okay, cool. I'll take those with me to work and and read it or something. But the
Let's
digital
look up
one,
old
yeah,
but start buying old EGMs and Nintendo Powers and stuff
yeah,
like
right.
that.
Um, I think there was a few more things here really quick. I am totally down with Phil Spencer deciding to allow people to disable quick resume. I really would like to just be able to disable quick resume because I've had it where it screws up FIFA on me plenty of times. In fact, I really don't use quick resume because I'm an old school gamer and I need to know that the thing's saved and
Yeah,
that when I load it up again, it's gonna load up where I saved it. So, because I've lost games of FIFA in the past because the stupid thing did the quick resume, and because it's FIFA is basically a live service game, it'll disconnect from the server, and there you go. That's it. Your game's lost. So that's the thing that I don't like, and this happens to a lot of people playing Halo Infinite as well, because that's live service. So it does the quick resume, and then you lost everything. So I wind up not using quick resume most of the time, and especially with remote play because I use remote play a lot. It will like just not work a lot of times. It'll just stay frozen there, and then I end up having to X out of it and then reload it. And if I didn't save, well, crap, I just lost everything there. So I would much rather you allow me to disable it. I've always thought it was like a weird. I've always thought okay, it's a cool feature for people that play multiple games at once, but it was not for me ever. I don't play if I play multiple games at once. They're usually on different systems, which have nothing to do with the other, or even if they do, I don't keep the save state open, so like it's unnecessary. I feel like
yeah.
so. Thank you, Phil
I don't know.
Spencer, for thinking about that.
The PS5 one works like fairly well.
Yeah, that one I haven't had much problems with.
I mean, it'll bounce you back to like either like the menu or it'll disconnect you from the server. Like
Yeah,
if it's like a multiplayer game or
but then
something.
I
But
can reconnect really easily again.
yeah, it's
You know,
not a huge issue.
because even the Microsoft Remote Play runs off the cloud.
Yeah,
I think when it has to do the where it reloads the cloud again or whatever, I
right.
think that messes with it as well. Whereas the Sony one, it feels like it's just doing a connection and it's there. Um, And also, Halo apparently is going to the Unreal Engine. So,
If you finally like the
yeah,
quad damage in Halo, or no, that was Quake
yeah,
3, or that was Quake. What did
yeah.
Unreal have? Unreal had some like goofy shit as well.
But they were using, the Slip Space engine, and it's probably better for Halo. Have less problems.
Speaking
It feels like almost everybody's using Unreal now. So,
speaking of
uh,
Halo, I mean, we talked about it when it happened when they canceled the local co-op mode.
yeah,
But did you see the Digital Foundry video on that?
no,
It is nuts. Like that mode is like 98% done.
wow.
Like there is some graphical corruption, like very occasionally, but that's it. you know,
Did
like
Digital Foundry say why they might have
no, because
decided to nix
they were
it?
like dumbfounded.
Uh,
They're like, this thing is like so close to being done as it is. Like they theorize because it's like it is a performance hit, like a small one, but who cares? Really.
Right, yeah, like people just want to be able to play with their friends. That's all they care about.
And like one or two times, again, this is like a minor issue, but like one or two times, I think it was the main guy. He's playing with his son, and like they would clip through the map, or I think the main guy did that like once. Like he like fell through the map like during a boss fight. But that's a minor bug at most. Like, and it only happened like once. So like they were just really dumbfounded that like this thing is so close to being done as it is that they can't fathom why it happened.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean,
Why you would just
if the thing was like barely working or major issues, then yes, I can see
right.
it. But if you didn't know it was like some beta or some unfinished thing, you'd be like, yeah, this works or this looks fine.
That just makes no sense to me. Like people have been waiting for that
Or
this
I
entire
mean,
time, and
the way
just
you get into this thing is like some like weird hacked thing, or not like hack, but like some weird like mode switching bullshit you have to do. It's
yeah,
like
that's the one.
just put it on the menu and say, "Hey, co-op unfinished," or
A co-op beta.
yeah, or something like that, or like we're not going to work on this, but here's the option to play it. Here you go.
Exactly. We're not gonna do the updates or whatever, but if you want to play it, here you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. That the whole just Halo Infinite um debacle at this point just makes me so sad. Like,
yeah.
you
Well, don't
know,
worry.
they
Overwatch 2 is going to be great.
and I love Halo. I wanted that game to be the thing that brings it back, and it's just like, man, you really nailed the single player was really good, and then just you have totally just ruined it with all these having to delay the features and everything else. This game's gonna be remembered for so much,
Wrong, then the
BS
right.
and
Yeah.
wrong, and the fact that they're even like there's a code name for a new Halo supposedly, uh, Tatanka or whatever right now, which all I
Wasn't
think
this one
about
supposed to
to
like last forever? Like that was the whole point.
yeah, this was supposed to be like the live service one that lasts for a long time, and then they have to nix it because of all the bad press they're getting from it. So, that's just sad. It sucks.
Yeah.
Um. Well, one thing that also sucks is apparently the many of the key members of the Disco Elysium team have left the studio.
Under a
They
cloud.
yeah, under a like people having to come out and say that they didn't push them out or whatever, that they decided to leave on their own. Supposedly ZAUM Cultural Association has been dissolved. Um, the writer and designer Robert Kurvitz, writer Helen Hindepier, and lead art and design developer Alexander Rostov have all left the company. That and then all three of them, they really haven't been working there since the end of last year, and they're leaving the company was involuntary,
Yeah.
according to Martin Luigia, who served as the editor on Disco Elysium. The that basically this whole association has been dissolved. Um, who knows what's going to happen to? There's supposed to be a sequel in the works.
I imagine it's either
Uh,
going to be canceled or it's going to be really shitty.
well, he says that apparently he just straight up said the sequel made us take a shit ton of time.
Yeah.
That progress on the new game was sweet enough. They also gave a statement saying that, like any video game, the development of Disco Elysium was and still is a collective effort, with every team member's contribution essential and valued as a part of greater of the whole. This time, we have no further comment to make other than ZAUM creative team's focus remains on the development of our next project, and we're excited to share more news on this with all of you soon. Yeah, this was given to VGC, so yeah, this. I know. I remember Jens loving the crap out of Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
Uh,
Except for like the performance issues.
yeah, that was performance issues, but it sucks. It sucks to see such a studio that made such a great game, a game that really kind of thought out of the box, and then this happens, and now we don't really know what's going to be happening with the sequel. So,
I mean, it's happened before with other games, I guess. Maybe not quite as I wouldn't say high profile, but highly praised, I guess. But think of what's that one crazy indie developer?
are you talking?
Phil Fish, I think that's his name.
Chucklefish?
No, not Chucklefish. Yeah, Phil Fish with Fez and Fez 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. They announced that, and then he went nuts halfway through, and then says, "Fuck it."
Yeah, he was gonna make Fez 2, and then he just decided all of a sudden no, we're not. Okay. And then you don't hear from him again.
Or the Fulbright company. They're still around, I guess, but
right.
They had an issue or
yeah. I mean, the Molasses Flood team almost went under at one point.
I mean, I guess the biggest actual one would be LA Noire, that mess Team Bondi.
That studio just
imploded because the game cost $800 million or whatever.
Yeah, because they focused so much on the models for the characters that they couldn't make back the production cost of that game. But yeah, man, it sucks to hear that this happened, and hopefully it means we'll actually get this game at some point, the sequel. But it sucks that a lot of the people that main players making the game won't be around. So
right, like I said, it'll definitely have a different. Like I said, the rating will be worse or be very different from the first game.
All right. Well, we have, I guess, what have you been playing here, Mark? A lot of the same, or?
Yeah, I just finished GTA 5 earlier today again.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Or not? It's not 100% done, but I got to the main story.
Yeah.
Now I gotta do the assassination missions to break the economy. Played a few more rounds of Shovel World Dig or Shovel Knight Dig. That stupid title.
Shovel Knight Dig, yeah.
It's still fine. I guess I still gotta read the review quickly, but I don't know. It's good, but I think it's too much of the same. or it's not like rogue light enough. It's not a ton of diversity in that game, you know.
Right.
So,
But you
I guess
liked it, you know,
yeah.
just not. You didn't feel like it was something.
It's not like. I mean, it's not. You know, you always have the shovel. You know, you don't. Your weapon never changes really. They have like a sub weapon that changes. But that's it. Like all the levels are. It's always the same 4 binomes, or I think there's like one might swap in and out, but that's about it. And it's always like a very narrow vertical going down.
Hmm.
And I guess you could draw like an analog to like Spelunky, but that game's a lot more open. There's not something chasing you also, but that game's a lot more open and like exploration focused. Like this game really isn't. You can't explore, but there's like they're like side rooms and that's it.
Oh, okay.
There's not like whole cloth like, oh, this is a completely new path or anything like that. So it's good though.
Yeah.
And yeah, no more Live Alive, but I got to get back to that. I found a store that has a reproduction cartridge of the SNES version, so I may buy that.
Oh, wow.
It's like a translated copy, so that might be interesting to try.
Well, I mean, hope you. Is it like expensive or?
It's like $15.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, I mean that's what they charge for repros, which is they tell you outright it's a reproduction, so I find that's fine. It's when like other stores try to sell you something like a bootleg, and they're like, "Oh, it's real." It's like, no, it's not, you fuckers. But what about you? You playing anything fun aside from Soul Hackers 2?
I've been play a little bit more Soul Hackers 2. Got through that Soul Matrix and was like, oh my god, do I really have to go through the other people's Soul Matrix 2? Because
Yes.
the
Although, did you see their recent patch or the patch notes?
No.
They're basically, I think enough people complained. They're making the dash thing like a core mechanic now, where you can just kind of have it on or off.
Oh,
Like
that's good.
To make you run faster. And it's funny. They're also like, oh, you can you can like quick travel in that game pretty much anywhere, right?
Yeah. Quick travel.
And they're
nice.
like, oh, we're like letting you be able to quick travel to the store itself, and not just in front of it. And it's like,
wow, that should have been from the beginning. Like,
well, yeah, but also it's like, who cares? Like, it's not like you walk like 2 feet and then you're inside the store.
no,
Like,
yeah,
have the
definitely.
prompt, but
I can understand why some people are complaining because it is kind of like an extra step. You have to wait for it to load, and
yeah, and they're also adding some more personas in the game or more demons. So,
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like a lot of the actually gathering the demons, and the gameplay is fun. It's just, man, it's going through the same locales a lot, and then that soul matrix just like literally took the soul out of me and just like, this is just so blah. Like,
Yeah. I actually like the Soul Matrix mainly because it is a really big area,
yeah,
and you can see where you need to go pretty well. So you can go, oh, the stairs are over there, halfway
yeah.
across the map. I can just run over there, or
I thought the
do
map
that.
does a pretty good job of kind of telling you anyway, but
Yeah, up until the fourth round of the Soul Matrix, where it opens up all
okay.
these fucking portals that like teleport you all over the place, and
Oh
you need like
god. Okay.
have fun. Right, I actually did jot down like a quick map of like, okay, this portal takes you to this platform, which takes you to this platform. It's like 4 or 5 like portals deep, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the which is weird because Persona has awesome music. Like this game, kind of the
Doesn't
music is not
like
very good.
the intro movie music is really great.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I got the collector's edition, and they have like a soundtrack sampler disc which isn't a full soundtrack, so that's why Jens didn't buy it. But it's like jazz versions of the soundtrack, and it's like, who fucking asked for this?
I guess someone did.
Like if you're gonna have a soundtrack sampler, have like songs from the game in it.
That's true? Yeah, definitely. Like why?
Not the jazz remixes.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been played more FIFA. Haven't really. I think the only new thing I've done with it is the Volt. I played some of the Volta. That's their version of FIFA Street. Quite frankly, I really just think that I don't think that it works that great, to be honest. Like it just doesn't have that same feel of the FIFA Street. Like, oh, they try to add like little powers and stuff like that, and it just doesn't look cool. Like it's the same FIFA, just it's in an indoor setting. And I'd rather them just the way it was the first year where they didn't have the powers. It's just okay, you're playing FIFA in an indoor setting. That's all it is. You can create your character and they have a different look, like a kind of more hip street look, whatever. That's fine. I like the little mini games; those were fun, or they are fun. The game itself, like I said, the gameplay, I really like it this year. Just I guess I got to play more of that, and I finally got into Ultimate Team. I never really done Ultimate Team that much. I will say the Ultimate Edition gives you a lot of freaking
Packs to open.
packs and
Yeah.
and the money as well. So it was much easier for me. I didn't have to buy anything with my own money. Didn't really have to play much to get a decent team going either. But it was fun getting to play against somebody and watch my Homestead FC beat someone else. So
speaking of that, are you using the DLC for Soul Hackers 2 or no?
No.
Okay.
Not yet. No.
Don't worry,
I didn't really have a problem with that second boss that you said you did, or
really?
No, but I got lucky. I had the five whatever it is that he's weak to. I had those demons already there.
Okay.
That's what I think trips you up about this game is that if your team's not prepared, you're gonna have to like go back and freaking do it again and all that. So,
no, yeah, it was Kaburagi. That was it.
That's the one that's at the end of Arrow's Soul Matrix.
No.
But,
oh yeah, he has like blue hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem I had with him when I was like playing normally is he has two little minions with him.
Yeah, the minion guys.
And I took them out, and then he resummoned them.
Yeah, he does that.
I took him out again, and he did it again, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna last forever,
Luckily, I had already taken him down a lot by the time he resummoned him the second time.
Right,
and I was able to just kill him off. And
one of them like auto also heals him. So
yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to avoid. Like, I'm just gonna freaking keep hitting you because if not, these dudes are just gonna keep healing you, and then we're gonna be going in circles. So
yeah, and then the other minion is still attacking me, and so is he. So I'm like, all right, great.
Oh yeah, he does that. Like, it has a weird name, that attack that like attacks your whole party.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh god, if he does this too many times, he's gonna kill everybody.
Right, exactly. Cool. So
yeah. So luckily, I had the right combination, and I was able to just keep attacking his weakness or whatever, and it did the Sabbath thing a few times. And it killed him. So that was a win there. Right. The one, I guess, new game that I'm playing, it comes out in a couple days from when you're listening to this. It's an ID at Xbox game, and it's also on Switch, and I'm playing it on Switch. It's on everything, PS4, Steam. It's basically like a 4-player. You could play it single player as well. beat 'em up, and it's an indie game. You could say very indie. Has a sort of cartoony art style. And you can actually control all 4 of the characters. You can switch between them at any time. They each had their own kind of like unique move set. There's 2 like projectile ones, and then 2 kind of like melee combat. It's meant for you to play like online or local with someone, but single player has been pretty interesting as well. Just
before you launch further into this thing, what's the name of it?
it is called, oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
I do that all the time.
You do that for yeah.
It's called Josh Journey Darkness Totems. So basically, it's supposed to be Josh's journey, which is the one like human character that you play as. Oops. So there's like a one human character, there's an alien looking character, there's a robot, and then there's a ant. The closest animal I can think of is an anteater, because he has an attack later that he pulls out his long tongue and he can pull the guy back or whatever. So
same as Knuckles from Sonic.
Yeah. So like I think it's actually pretty decent. The only thing that bugs the crap out of me is that the enemies just they will, and the thing is you have to attack them the same way. Like the one way that I figured out how to attack these like groups of 3 or 4 enemies that come at you is you have to kind of get them all in a row and then just keep spamming the freaking X button. And then the problem is they'll do the same thing to you, like, because what happens is, okay, all of them have their own life bar, all 4 of the characters, right? So if one of them dies, the next one would just spawn automatically in the same spot. So they'll keep doing the same attack motion and they'll kill all my freaking people, and then I have to restart the whole level again.
Yeah.
Because like, and you can jump and stuff like that, and you have another like a stronger attack with the Y button. But dude, I'm telling you, like there's times where I've got caught in that loop and there's nothing I can do. I'm trying to jump, I'm trying to use the other attack, I'm trying to do whatever, and like nothing works.
Right.
And I literally got killed by like these 2 monkey. They have these 2 monkey enemies that they literally throw a banana, and they also like kick you with their feet. So one of them's throwing the banana at me, and the other one's freaking kicking me. And so they keep doing it to all of the freaking enemy, all of my people,
right?
And they die.
Yeah, you just like stun locked.
Exactly, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so annoying. And then I find out that if I would have just done one of my special attacks to move them out of the way, I could keep going, and I didn't have to kill them. And I was like, oh my god, I wasted like an hour here. So, because most of the enemies, like most beat 'em ups, you have to kill them to keep going. So,
right.
And this happens with other enemies as well. Like there's these ducks that have these meat cleavers, and they'll sometimes get you caught in that loop too. But like aside from that, which the problem is it happens too frequently. It's I think the characters are pretty like varied. I like the art style is kind of quirky. I like all the colors, and it has like a little world map that you can go on to the different levels, and it has you do have like a skill level up system where you get different skills. And then another thing too is if you die, you lose all your little diamonds or whatever that you get from killing the enemies, because you're basically like they're attacked by this this poisonous gas or whatever, and you're cleansing them basically. So
to the power of cleansing, to the power of violence.
And then the thing is also the bosses are kind of all similar, at least the ones that I've fought so far. I've only gone through the first couple worlds, where you have to destroy their like minion in order for you to be able to hit the boss. So
Yeah.
like the boss gets like locked, you have to kill the minion, and then you can go keep hitting the boss, and the minion respawns. You have to keep doing the same cycle over and over and over. And yeah,
that's something Jens really hated about the Remnant game. Well, I had like infinite spawning minions.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is kind of getting monotonous. So, especially because like the one that I'm at, it's like a replica of the Josh character.
Yeah.
So he has his moves. Like one of his special attack is like the link. Basically, it's like the link thing where from Smash Brothers where he takes both swords and does like a tornado.
Yeah, the sword
thing.
curl, or yeah.
And he does it like all over the map, and you don't have a way to go any faster. So you're like basically trying to dodge him or whatever, and then trying not to get hit. And then after a while, they have more minions show up aside from him. He can kill them by doing that, but they also attack you. So by the time you get done killing all the minions, that boss is locked again, and then you have to deal with the same minion again. So, yeah. So there's some gameplay like design flaws there, but I think the basic conceit of the game is pretty good.
Cool.
So yeah, look for it out. It's like I said, it's on all of the systems, and on PC. Josh Journey, Darkness Totems, and if you want to check it out, definitely do so. So I had, I'm not sure if he's the main guy behind the studio, Provincia Studio. He reached out to me to see if I could review the game. So I may not be able to have it on October 6th when this game launches because my girlfriend's in the middle of moving, and I
I hope
actually
his
had
name
to.
is, yeah.
Yeah. What? Oh, his name. Oh man, I have
Yeah, Josh.
No, his name is not Josh, the person that reached out to me. But still, I think it's always cool when you can. His name is Luri. So thank you, Luri, for sending the code. I will try to have this review done as quick as possible. But like I said, I wasn't expecting that my girlfriend needed to move. So and we just had the main problem why she has to move happen again tonight, where the sewage freaking overflowed in the bathroom. So that has not been fun to have to deal with the last couple months. But either way, again, cool when these indies have some really cool games that we can try out and play, and go look out for it. As far as games that are coming out pretty soon, aside from Josh Journey Darkness Totems, you can also go check out uh, No Man's Sky on Switch. That'll be out by the time this is out.
Best platinum for it.
Yeah, exactly. That Dying Light 2 Bloody Ties DLC will be out. So are you gonna did you ever get Dying Light 2?
No, that required me to get Dying Light 2 in the first place.
Yeah, like
They
okay.
didn't send us, so fuck them.
Oh, I didn't know if you ever like try to check out the game.
No. I heard it's not that good to begin with, or it's just very pedestrian, so it's like
okay. That No More Heroes 3 hits all the other consoles, have to be exclusive to Switch for a year, I think. That Lego Brick Tales game comes out as well. If you needed more Lego, there you go. And that Lost Eidolons game, which is one of those like indie darlings for a strategy game on PC, that comes out as well next week. By the time on the 13th, by the time we do the next show, Triangle Strategy also comes out on PC. So if you can't pay, if you don't have a Switch, you can definitely check it out on PC. Then
You're too lazy to figure out how to work the Switch emulator.
Yeah. And Mark's favorite series has another game, WRC Generations.
They're gonna say PC building simulator.
No, yeah, your favorite series has
Can't wait
another
to
game.
review that last one.
Yeah, and Trifox, another indie darling, comes out as well, and then Dragon Ball: The Breakers. Are you excited for this one, or?
It has a neat idea, but no.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought too. Like, this is a neat idea, but I definitely
I just don't like those
not.
types of games. Personally,
Yeah,
the whole like 4-on-1 thing just does not appeal to me at all.
I could see it being a hit with people, especially the loving the Dragon Ball crowd.
The problem is I don't have the other 3 players. I have like half of one with the ends. That's about it.
Right. Yeah, this would definitely be one that would be cool if it came to Game Pass or something, but it's definitely not. So
yeah.
But all right, and till next week, we will see y'all later, folks.
Later.
Bye.